Chips. What a sprinter. Brian Whittle of Scotland, 22 years old, from Ayr Seaforth Athletics Club. He's in lane 6. Rob Stone of Canada, the 21-year-old Australian, 20.75 this season. And the man with a difficult task right on the outside, Todd Bennett of England, Southampton and Eastleigh, 20.50 this season. And he is the hare. Second in the 3A's championships. The 1985 European Indoor 400 metres champion, changed this season to the shorter event. Away first time, and Johnson already up on Whittle, and Ben Johnson steaming round the bend, and Rob Stone going well too, and Todd Bennett fighting off the Australian. Johnson and Stone and Bennett. And Whittle in fourth place. First four to qualify. Ben Johnson cruising down. Bennett looks to his left. Johnson wins it. Bennett second. Stone in third. Whittle in fourth. Those are the four qualifiers. 20.82, the fastest heat. And the manner in which that was run can't have gone unnoticed by those already gone in the previous heats. Off the bend, Johnson had the two fast men, Stone and Bennett, in his sights. Then he just changed up into another gear. Did the work, and so did Todd Bennett. Todd Bennett looked to his left to see where the Australian was. He was home and dry, quite comfortable. And so the Englishman through. Johnson still a threat in the 200 metres, and it could be a double for him too.
That means Skeet and Morley go through into the final as the two fastest losers, along with the first three finishers in each semi-final. Now, the qualification of the men's 200 metres is slightly different. This is the first semi-final, and the first four go through as of right. The lineup, that's pronounced Kaiha Vanuatu, runs in lane 1. Mawene, Botswana, in lane 2. Dynan, Australia, in lane 3. Baird of Northern Ireland in lane 4. Regis of England in lane 5. Ben Johnson, the favourite from Canada, the gold medalist in the 100 metres in lane number 6. Silwea of Malawi in lane number 7, and McCallum of Scotland right on the outside.
And the qualifying condition from each
200 metres, the title jointly held by Alan Wells of Scotland and Mike McFarlane of England. Wells unable to defend through injury. Mike McFarlane didn't qualify as an England 200 metre representative, but of course did get the bronze medal in the 100 metres. Kaiha from Vanuatu, he's a policeman, he's 27. His personal best leaves him with no hope unless he produces a miracle today in qualifying. His personal best is 22 seconds dead. He runs in lane number 1. That's Sunday Mawene of Botswana. He's a soldier, he's 26, and he's got a best time of 21.7. He also will be pushed. And the qualifiers could come from lanes 3, 4, 5 and 6. John Dynan, the Australian, former professional, reinstated, clocked a very fast time earlier this season of 20.19, but went to the Australian Championships injured, didn't perform too well. John Dynan, 26 years old. There's Simon Baird, Northern Ireland, in great form here. He set a Northern Ireland record of 21.04 in the previous round. Late selection for the team, fully justified. He runs in lane number 4. Lane 5, the powerful figure of John Regis. Hernhill Harrier, only 19. The 3As and the United Kingdom champion really come on a bundle this season. Slightly off the boil in recent weeks, but this is the time to get back to form. Personal best this season, 20.41. That's fast running. He's going to need to reproduce it too. And he's looking up at the screen where he sees himself. Ben Johnson, gold medalist in the 100 metres, the new Commonwealth champion, going for the double. This not his favourite event by any means, and he was beaten in the Canadian Championship into second place. Ben Johnson, 24, the fastest 100 metre runner in the world this year, and the most successful. But what can he do at 200? I must say, though, in the previous round, he looked good. Lane at number 7, Odia Silvea, or Silwea of Malawi. He's a captain in the army. Most of the Malawi athletes seem to be in the army. He's 27, His personal best of 21.7 leaves him quite a bit behind Dynan, Baird, Regis and Johnson. And right on the outside, George McCallum, the Scot. Should be able to see in a moment. He's drawn in lane number 8. George is 23, member of the local club, Edinburgh Southern, training accountant. He's the Scottish champion. He also won the title in '84. He'll be an important member, I suspect, of their relay team. 21.6 in the heat. He did 21.17 earlier this season. You've got to go back 2 years to find his personal best, which was inside 21 seconds at 20.83. His father, by the way, George, I've got a feeling played professional football, I think for Third Lanark. And by the way, talking about these sprinters and the development of Scottish sprinters, I met the former world professional champion last night, one of the great Scottish sprinters, George McNeill. Under the new rules, he could have been reinstated, and what an asset he'd have been to Scotland and to British athletics. But he is very much in touch with the athletic scene here. The amateurs, well, we can hardly call them amateurs now. It's a much more open sport. And there was a dinner held last night in one of the hotels to pay tribute to the coach who has done so much for Scottish sprinting. Mr. Bradley is over here from Australia. He emigrated some time ago. And of course, the mantle of coach was carried on then by Wilson Young, whose great product was Alan Wells.
And there's some that still question whether Alan Wells is Scotland's greatest ever sprinter, or whether it was the man who led the Scottish professionals, because the distances were never quite the same. The professionals generally racing over 130 metres, but my word. Sir Alexander Ross taking his seat in the roll box. Prince Edward too. And the sad news for the sprinters is that it's raining quite hard again. It really is coming down. That's why they're loath to take their wetsuits off from their tracksuits over on the far side. Pity, because that clearly will affect their times.
I wonder whether we've got a new athletics fan there in Prince Edward, because since he made his first appearance here on Sunday, he's been back twice, so he's clearly enjoying what he's seen. In fact, there's a slight problem down there because of the mechanism connected to the blocks there that's gone wrong. And of course, they've got speakers alongside each block, carrying the noise of the starter's gun, and they've got a problem, no wonder, I would say, too, in the weather. Well, they seem to have sorted themselves out at the start of the 200 metres, so it's a long time since we introduced the athletes. A check on the lineup. This is the first semi-final, and the first 4 go through into the final later this afternoon. In lane number 1, from Vanuatu, that name is pronounced Kaiha. Mawani of Botswana is in lane 2. Dynan, Australia, in lane 3. Baird of Northern Ireland in lane 4. Regis of England in lane 5. Johnson of Canada in lane 6. Sinclair of Malawi in lane 7. McCallum of Scotland in lane 8. And by the way, I've just heard, it's difficult to believe, but the speaker system is working on the blocks. The electrical system is not working, probably due to the amount of water that's around. They're going to start purely on a verbal command. And we'll surely hear the gun, but it goes back to the olden days. John Regis, 19 years old there, and there is the favourite, Ben Johnson. Sinclair in lane 7 from Malawi. George McCallum, the Scot, right on the outside. It's 4 to final, and the 4 favoured many are in lane 3, 5, and 6. Australian professional. St. Baird, who's just new Northern Ireland record figures in qualifying in the first round. Johnson of England, Ben Johnson, Canada.
Here we go, Aqua.
Not Ben Johnson's favourite event, the 200 metres, unbeaten in the Canadian Championship. The first semi-final. Third 4 into the gets them away quite beautifully. Regis got away very well indeed. Johnson also going well, and around the top bend it's Ben Johnson showing his ability. Regis heavily strapped, has held him well on the bend. Simon Baird is going well, so too is Dynan, and on the near side McCallum. The race for the 4 places between these 5, and it's Johnson just coming in front. Dynan wins, Johnson eases down, Regis is there, Simon Baird there, and Johnson as well. And the time 21.14, and indeed the first round heats were a lot faster. And the first four so much better than the rest that they didn't really have to press themselves at all. In fact, their runs in the first round were of better quality than that. The wind speed plus 1.56 inside the legal limit, but with the final to come, they were just doing enough. Dynan the clear winner, and the other qualifiers, as we expected, Regis, Ben Johnson, who slowed right down, and Simon Baird from Northern Ireland, who's shown so much improvement at these games. He's in the all green, chasing Regis, who's closing down on Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson suddenly responds. McCallum of Scotland on the outside ran a good bend, but just wasn't strong enough in the straight. Now Dynan starts to come from the back here in lane number 3. The former Australian professional, 20.19 this season, been injured recently, but clearly coming back to his best. He's putting it all in at this particular moment. Johnson certainly isn't, and Regis isn't. Baird's working hard to get there, but they all suddenly realise there's no problem. They've qualified. They're in the final. That's Dynan, Regis, Johnson and Baird.
And in a sense, it was a good job that the first four went through by right and not to be decided by the clock. That's the two fastest losers, because the electronic clock wasn't working except on the winner. It was all hand timing from then on. As David Cohen was saying, Ben Johnson doesn't really like this because Attlee Mayhorn, who goes in the second semi-finals, the man that beat Ben Johnson in those Canadian Championships. And John Regis, heavily strapped there. I was surprised to see him in Athens at the World Junior Championships, but he was sent out there. Eddie Koulakundis, who's really the benefactor of so many of these young athletes, sent him there in the sunshine to train because I think he was nursing a little bit of a hamstring after the 3A's Championships. But here's Ben Johnson with a rather remarkable arm action, and usually sees a lightly clenched fist. He's got pointed fingers going away, but what a musculature on what is, without a doubt, the world's fastest human at the moment. Meanwhile, the competitors on the far side of the track from us getting ready for the final track final of the afternoon. The men's 200 metres. There's the lineup. It's Simon Baird of Northern Ireland, Ben Johnson of Canada, Todd Bennett of England outside him. My favourite, I think, Attlee Mayhorn of Canada in 4, Rob Stone of Australia in 5, Mike Dwyer of Canada in 6, John Regis of England carrying that strapped thigh, he runs in lane 7, and another very strong contender, John Dynan of Australia, right on the outside. Those competitors just being introduced to the crowd. Milt Ottey not yet ready to jump, but the crowd totally absorbed in what's been going on this great day for track and field. 200 metres final, the last track final of the day. Simon Baird there, Queen's University in Ballymena and Antrim AC. Late addition to the team, and what an impression he's made. He really has run superbly. 21.04 in his heat, and then 21.28 in his semi-final, setting that Irish record. Ben Johnson said not to like the 200 metres. I think that was because Attlee Mayhorn beat him in the Canadian Championships. The Jamaican-born, who had a very bad and very serious speech impediment, almost adopted from his brother, who he grew up with. His family emigrated from Jamaica when he was about 11, and he was a very introverted guy. That speech impediment is gradually growing with his confidence. Todd Bennett getting a terrific lift, the English record holder, and he's run well, he's looked good here. And he is, of course, one of the absolute stalwarts in the English 4x400 squad. Now, Attlee Mayhorn of Canada, 20 years of age. Very, very impressive indeed, all 6'2" of him. Australia is outside him. He looks like a man who's anxious to impress Ben Johnson. He can beat him again, but Rob Stone is the Australian 200-metre champion. That means ahead of John. There's Mike Dwyer of Canada, another Jamaican-born Canadian. Much they've benefited from their contacts from the West Indies and Caribbean. Outside him, we've got John Regis, and you'd have said at the end of the 3A's Championships that he'd run himself into a medal position, John, the Herne Hill Harrier. He finished 3rd in the European Junior Championships, but he had a terrific run in the 3A's and the UK Junior Championships earlier this season. I just feel that he's carrying that strapping. And he's got John Dynan, this reinstated professional, on the outside. He had a left ankle operation in April, but my word, he's back tremendously well. And John Dynan, now 26. keepers still locked. The sprinters just holding their breath. They're stripped off. Conditions are good. The breeze will be on their backs in the home straight. And so let me remind you again of the lineup. That's Simon Baird of Northern Ireland. This is Ben Johnson of Canada. Todd Bennett, about 5 inches shorter, of England in lane 3. Attlee Mayhorn of Canada, 5 inches taller in lane 4. Rob Stone of Australia in 5. Mike Dwyer, the other Jamaica-born Canadian, in lane 6. John Regis, only 19, remember. Good future for him in lane 7. And John Dynan, suddenly flavouring amateur athletics, in inverted commas, at its very best after some years as a professional. Settling into their box. The electronic timing now working smoothly. Water in the works earlier on when the women's 200 metres final was on. Todd Bennett gently rocking. Drawn between the two big Canadians. That was a late rise from John Dynan on the outside. Now, that is something that professionals, I wonder if I'm doing it in injustice, but on set he didn't move. He waited till they all got in the set position, and he was the last to move. He went up quickly, but he went up late, and that's distracting. But the break came in lane 6 and lane 4. That was Dwyer and Mayhorn. So I'll take that back, John Dynan, but he does come into the set position late. What the starter would say is that the set position, as he calls it, is a command and you must react to it. So Baird, Johnson, Bennett, Mayhorn, Stone, Dwyer, Regis and Dynan into their blocks for the second time of asking. Johnson, tremendously wide arms and head up. Certainly the widest stance there. This time they go. No breaks at the moment. Oh, lane 2. Ben Johnson moving well. Mayhorn moving well. Bennett's got some work to do. The two Canadians off the crowd of the bend. Johnson on the inside. Mayhorn in lane 4. Todd Bennett between them. It's a Canadian battle. Mayhorn goes ahead. There's no doubt about it. It's Attlee Mayhorn. Todd Bennett gets second. Johnson third. And then a battle for fourth, and it might have been Simon Baird. What a remarkable run. The Canadian champion does the fastest man in the world yet again. 20.31. It was a Canadian battle off the crown of the bend. The breeze of plus 2.15 metres, and Todd Bennett eased his way between the two of them. Fine run. Good silver medal that. But this is some sprinter. He really is. Attlee Mayhorn, the 6'2", 20-year-old Canadian, who was run well and was raced hard into the bend. From then on, moved away from Ben Johnson. Then Todd Bennett closed down on Ben Johnson and got the silver. Johnson the bronze. A good day for Canada. A great run for Attlee Mayhorn. What a tremendous run it was. Mark McCoy there, anxious to give him the Canadian flag. And surely he'll take Ben Johnson with him. Tremendous run, even for the first 100 metres. But from then on, it was Attlee Mayhorn that did all the running. Well, at the moment, it's Canada's day. This was a fine 200 metres, absolutely world-class. Ben Johnson is the Canadian in lane 2, Todd Bennett of England in 3, Attlee Mayhorn on 4. They're the three principals as they come off this bend, and Todd Bennett is down by 1.5 metres. Mayhorn always in control, but he looks across and Johnson's with him. The battle for fourth place is an interesting one between Rod Stone and on the inside Simon Baird of Northern Ireland, who really has run out of his socks in these championships. But look at this now. The Canadian champion, really a superb piece of running. He runs away from Johnson first, and watch Todd Bennett get ahead of Ben Johnson And then it's going to be a photograph for fourth, but the silver medal to England, the bronze to Canada, and a photograph, and I think it was Rob Stone of Australia, fourth place. But well done, Todd Bennett, to take a remarkable scalp in Ben Johnson. But on the day, it was the man who'd looked so good all the way through these championships, a specialist in his own right at 200-metre running, Atlee Mayhorn of Canada, the gold medal. What a good day for Canada. What a good run for Mayhorn.